So let's take a look at the Fire-Dex FXR garment. Assisting me today is Assistant Chief Jeff Alexander while we demonstrate the FXR coat. Starting from the top, the FXR coat comes with an integrated safety collar. When this coat is donned, the collar is automatically up in the firefighting position. This particular sample coat does have a throat tab. Please note that the Fire-Dex FXR coats pass the overall liquid integrity test at UL, also known as the shower test, without a throat tab. Coming down a little farther on the coat, we come to the shoulders. Most American clothing is designed so we have big square shoulders with the seam residing on the outside of the shoulder connecting to the arm. The problem with that design, when not at rest, when that arm moves up, the seam goes up. When the seam goes up, we get a lot of movement in the shirt or the coat. The FXR coat has had the seams moved from the outside of the shoulders up to the natural pivot point of the body. When Jeff rotates his arm up, you'll notice that there's almost no coat rise down here and no restriction in this area. The next feature on the FXR coat is the sleeve design. You'll notice this arms forward design has the curvature already built into the sleeve. The front panel is a smaller piece of cloth, a little bit shorter, a little bit narrower. The back panel of the cloth is longer, a little bit wider in the elbow area, similar to a football design. When Jeff puts his arm at maximum bend, you'll notice there's not a lot of restriction or constriction here in this area. Next, I want to show you the water well. At Fire-Dex, we have an integrated water well that's both wide and deep. It allows for a good interface with the glove inside the protective envelope of the coat. When Jeff removes the glove, you'll get a better look at the water well. We'll take a little close-up of it in a minute. So regardless of the wristlet system, the thumb loop, thumb hole, or the basic one, the wristlet at Fire-Dex is actually attached to the water well, and the water well has been sewn to the coat at 2 places. So the maximum that you can see up the arm is about to this point at the end of the water well. The reason we point that out was when doing overhead work, sometimes there's debris and fluid and steam that's coming down through the arm. This water well actually prevents that from entering the protective envelope. On the front of the coat, we have a couple of features that are very popular. Whatever your department would like to specify as far as microphone clips, radio pockets. This particular radio pocket has a double notch system. Allows the firefighter to have the radio pocket rest on either side, have the antenna come out on the notch. On the right side of the chest, this demo coat shows both a mic clip, with below that is a 3-point snap hook that's used primarily for flashlight attachment. We can use for lots of other things. Below that is a Velcro adjustable retention strap, typically for the body of the flashlight, but a lot of people do use it as a glove holder. Do want to point out on the cargo pockets, the flap has some extra material built into the end of the flap. It gives the pocket flap a little bit of mass so that the firefighter can grab it with a gloved hand. He knows he actually has the flap of the pocket. The radio pocket and the cargo pockets are all custom made to whatever size is appropriate for your department. Usually involves measuring of the current radio or the future radio to make sure we get a radio pocket of the correct size. So cargo pockets down here, again, fire department choice to have it the size, the bellows, the interior compartments, things like that, all custom made. Let's take a look at the back of the coat. Starting from the top again, we'll look at the drag rescue device. The DRD flap at Fire-Dex is a little bit wide because we use a 2-eye hole system. So if firefighters down, you're going to get them out of the building using this method. The reflective DRD flap is visible, a nice big piece of leather for your gloved hand to grab. The flap goes up. The 2-eye hole system is single hand deployment. With a gloved hand, you can slide in and deploy quickly. One of the benefits of this system is most firefighters are much stronger with the grip this way versus the tongue system that comes out. The problem with the tongue system, although it does have a smaller footprint, the tongue system makes you grab like this. You can't pull as much weight that way. There's a high slippage factor. The second benefit of the 2-eye hole system is the capability for 2 rescuers. Depending on how the strap comes out, you can have one strap going both ways for 2 rescuers, or if it comes out this way, that's fine too. Both of you grab the same loop, but there's handhold and space for 2 rescuers. On the back of the coat, the reflective trim package this is a very popular one where the air bottle resides in the middle and the reflective trim is still visible on the side. At the bottom of the coat, we have a feature to allow either for a detachable or permanent lower hanging name panel, depending on what your department would like to have. On the side of the coat, we're going to show the take-up strap. This particular coat is designed with a postman slide. Assistant Chief Alexander has big shoulders and a smaller waist, so we want to taper the coat just a little bit in that snug fit area there using the take-up straps. Wanted to see an alternative FXR coat in design and trim package. This particular coat's a little bit shorter in the front, a little bit longer in the back. That's 3 layers of the material, so shell, thermal, and moisture, elongated back. This particular coat has a New York City trim package, 2 stripes that go around the body, one at chest level, one at the sweep of the coat, and then 2 trim package stripes around the upper arm and the lower arm. This sample coat also has a DRD flap of a different color to denote a little stand out to the rescuer from the regular color of the garment. On this lower panel down here, there is a Velcro frame to accept the last name of the firefighter. This FXR coat is made out of the TechGen 71 proprietary outer shell for Fire-Dex. Specifically, we want to talk a little bit about the reflective trim. This is made by 3M, the same makers of traditional Scotch-Lite that's been in the fire service for many years. This is the next generation 3M trim that's directly applied to the coat. It does not have that Nomex substrate like traditional Scotch-Lite trim does. This comes in both the red-orange package or in the lime-yellow package. As noted here, this is one of the main interest points for some fire departments in looking at TechGen 71 is a very good TPP with a very high THL. Another trim package available by Orifal is called Brilliance. This trim is designed in such a way that water does not affect the silver retroreflectivity. The trim uses what's called microprismatic pieces of silver. That's flat pieces of silver. So in addition to the 1-inch stripe, there are also these diamond plate trim styles. So you have more silver to allow retroreflectivity back to the driver or to the rescuer. The 3-inch letters also come made out of the same trim. This particular coat has a larger letter identifying the name of the city in the middle with a smaller FD on both sides. Now let's take a look at the FXR pant, starting with the suspender. Fire-Dex makes both an X-back and an H-back suspender with 4 different suspender attachment systems, which we'll see in a minute. The goal with the suspender is to have the pad reside approximately half on the front, half on the back of the shoulder. That's why we make several different length suspenders for the different torsos. The adjustment on this suspender is a little bit new for some of you possibly. We use the Siberian Cam Lock system. Jeff will show us how the suspenders actually adjust by pulling upwards to where you like to have your pants worn and then closing the lock. This closed cam system eliminates suspender retraction. This suspender, no matter how wet or heavy those pants get, the suspender is not going to retract and the pants are going to continue to droop down. As we're looking at the FXR pant, it's known as a mid-rise pant from the design of the pant to where it rests on the waist of the firefighter. This particular FXR pant has a West Coast pocket. Out west, some fire departments choose to have the pocket mounted a little bit more towards the front of the thigh. A lot of East Coast firefighters are used to seeing the cargo pocket mounted directly over the side seam. What I want to point out here of the FXR garment is the curvature that's built into the pattern. Just like we saw on the sleeve, the back of the panel is a little bit shorter, the front of the leg is a little bit longer. As Jeff moves his knees forward, you'll see the curvature develop right here. This pre-bent design system allows for great mobility and flexibility of the pant without having to do the traditional move where you grab your pants and hike them up a little bit. Let's take a look at the Sts Knee, which stands for seam to seam or side to side knee. This particular knee is made out of the black polymer coated aramid. Below the knee exterior reinforcement, but on the outside of the shell, is 1 layer of closed cell foam. As Jeff turns to the side, you will see how the Sts Knee is actually integrated into the side seam of the pant. The reason for the Sts Knee to be designed, built into the seams, is to prevent knee pad movement when kneeling or crawling. Often, firefighters over the years experienced where the knee pad has a tendency to shift to the inside or to the outside during bending or crawling. On the FXR pant, in addition to the pre-bent leg design, there's a gusset located between the thighs. This design reduces stress and excessive wear of the liner in this area.